meeting. We ask that you join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on the agenda for tonight is the approval of the minutes.
I have no corrections.
I saw no corrections either. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 2 is the presentation of Employee of the Month, Courtney Cox.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Kellie is out today, so I am up here in her place. I am going to be presenting the Employee of the Month Award to Scott Barney. Scott is our lead EMT with the Carbon County Ambulance. He has been employed since November of 2001, so he has given over 21 years of service to Carbon County on the ambulance crew. He was nominated by Zach Wise, so I'm going to step away and let Zach say a few words.
Good afternoon. I have a script. Probably won't be able to read it because I'm a boob. It doesn't matter what I do, but I cry. I'll try to get through it. It's not a funeral. It's okay. When I nominated Scott, this is what I said to Courtney and Kelly. Scott is the definition of a mentor and a leader. I can't even see through my glasses. He is always going above and beyond in every aspect of his job. He not only provides excellent patient care and compassion for patients, he shows a compassion to his fellow employees. I've worked with Scott for nearly 12 years, and in that time, I've only seen strength, forgiveness, compassion, and the desire to serve. He does this all with having a family, raising children, and now having grandchildren. I cannot see. He's always willing to cover call, or swap a shift, or just sit and talk. I've been through a lot with Scott, and I know he has my back and will support me and everyone in this department. I appreciate Scott and everything he does for the department and me personally. I would like to add that in the past year, there have been 2 critical incidents that Scott has been involved with that I know about personally. During those horrific times, Scott was the calm in the storm and the hand to hold. The largest part of this job is providing comfort in people's worst and sometimes last moments. He was with me and my family in one of those moments. And I know firsthand how comforting his kind words and hugs are. There's nobody that deserves this to be recognized as much as Scott. Contagious.
Oh, thank you, Zach. Thank you, Commission. I appreciate this award. I'd like to thank everybody here, and especially those I work with. I work with a great group of individuals that I call family, and they stand behind me, and I stand behind them. I guess you could say I love them all. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Picture. So hold up your plaque and give me that thing. Yeah. I've been through this before. Thank you. His son Zach sent me a bunch of embarrassing photos that we thought about presenting, but we're going to wait till our Christmas party.
Yeah, perfect. We'll put it on the website. Commissioners, if you would allow, I'd like to step away from the agenda here for a minute and let Sheriff Wood and Justin Needles speak about the active shooter drill that they had training on here recently.
Thank you, Commissioners. As Justin comes up, first off, I want to give a big shout out to Justin Needles and his team. I don't think a lot of people realize the amount of time that Justin puts in to ensure that these events happen. One of his first directives when he took this position from me was, hey, we need to get involved with the schools. I want to do these active shooter drills and I want them to be real. And he's done that. We were able to get everybody involved from local allied agencies to EMS, fire, hospital helicopters. It was a really amazing training that we learned so much from. We find often that our teams are awesome at catching the bad guy. We can do that. We've learned we have some weakness when it comes to transitioning to what goes on beyond that, dealing with crime scene and moving forward with getting patient care and transitioning to the more of the sweep and less of the hunt. So those are areas that we're going to work on. Commissioner Hopes was there. I want to give a shout out to him as well for being there and supporting us through that, and his observations were well noted. We just, it's a great opportunity. Each time we've done these, and they get bigger and bigger every time, each time we do them, we learn more about what our strengths and weaknesses are. I'm very confident, and when I say we have areas to work on compared to where most other entities are in the United States, we're light years ahead. We've been working on this for years. I'm very confident that we would address an issue, any issue in our county, very professionally and directly, and a case like that dynamically. So I'm confident and proud of our team. I want to turn that over to Justin Needles, but I just do want people to know he's been working on that for about a year to make that drill happen. So
thanks for giving me a minute. I didn't have, obviously wasn't on the agenda, but first and foremost, anytime we look and plan an exercise, it's all based off of objectives. What do we want to accomplish? And that's always our starting point to give us an end goal. So our objectives for this exercise were threefold. First is communications, familiarize and ensure interoperable communications between all the departments, first responders, being law enforcement, fire, EMS. They all work on different channels, and so it's really hard to talk in those incidents. And we definitely identified some areas we can improve there. And second was to be able to quickly communicate to the public of situation status and progression throughout the incident. And so we actually had some people from like KSL make some phone calls and try and get information very real time to try and do that. And we had some successes there as well. Next is expedite treatment of patients. So utilize tactics that will expedite the treatment and transport of critical patients to Castleview Hospital. So big shout out to Castleview for being willing to participate. We transported 15 patients to them to help them triage and learn just as alongside of us. So it went really well there. And then the next one is, we know Sally Morrow. It's not like some of the other schools. It's really confusing. You walk in the doors. In all of our planning meetings, I'd walk in and I'd be like, okay, what way am I going again? And so just get first responders in that school and familiarize them with that school. So if we ever have any calls in there, they know where they're going. They kind of know the layout of it. And so those were our goals, our objectives that we could base everything off of. And I think we had some really key learning experiences in those scenarios. And so it provided law enforcement, fire, EMS, all those. And I just want to say thanks to the community for being involved as well. We had probably 100 volunteers that were in the school during the time. And so I know it's challenging for them to see some of the things that they saw, but having those people in the school was huge. And I just want to say thank you to them. So they made it possible for us to have success and make that the next scale of what we've done. So any questions?
I just want to add one quick thing. Sure. Also, the partnership with local law enforcement and the school district, Mike Casales and her team, they are very supportive and totally committed as well to this type of training. And so we wouldn't be able to do it without them as well. And that goes to say, even outside of the school year, absent of school hours, they give us access to the schools to train and learn, and every school's unique. So I want to recognize that, and I want the public to know that they do support us a lot. And I think that's huge, because I think you keep a big dog in your yard, you keep strangers out. And so that's what we try to do with our local law enforcement, with our schools.
Well, I just want to say thank you for going through the training. It's a sad commentary that we have to do something like this because of the things that go around the nation. But applaud you guys for taking the steps that you are to be ahead of it, and really appreciate all the time and effort that you guys have put into this. So thank you for that.
Yep. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I think our community should feel lucky because of the agencies that we have. We get constant updates on fires in our community and the responses and how well they respond, as well as EMS and having all of those agencies, APMP, Highway Patrol, Sheriff's Office, all of the police stations throughout our cities were all participating in that drill, and they reacted well together. They did an amazing job. EMS, fire, they were all there, and it was impressive to see. So, thank you.
I like to say it's one of those, so I had a good conversation with the principal yesterday, and sorry not to take any more of your time, but it's one of those type of exercise I would much rather go to this level in detail and plan it 100 times than ever have one response. And so that's what we try and do. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
guys.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you for that, Commissioners. We'll get back to the agenda now. Item number 3 is presentation of the Super Service Award. Tina Grange.
Hello, Commissioners. I'll just start off by reading the nomination. So you know you will have the absolute best experience you can have at a restaurant in the Carbon Corridor when you go to Grog's and Teresa is working. She treats everyone like they are her best customer. Teresa is extremely kind and attentive. When you walk into Grog's, you know you're not only getting the best food in town, but also the best service. Teresa is one of a kind and extremely deserving of this award. We love her so much, and your dining experience wouldn't be the same without Teresa at Grog's. So I echo all of these things. Teresa's just amazing. You know, you're going to have the best experience when you visit Grog's and she's working, but along with a lot of the other staff members there. So this award is presented to Teresa Peasy with Grog's Pinnacle Brewing Company. Oh, she's so sweet and humble too. When I called her, she just... It's just, really, why did somebody do that? And I will say that she's just really humble. And she said, you know, she has hard days and it's her customers that get her through. And so I know this award means a lot to her. So you want to say
Congratulations.
I don't know what to say. Thank you.
You
I
can
love
tell
my
us what the
job.
special is, what we want to drink. Usual stuff I hear from
best
you.
salsa? Just kidding.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you.
You bet.
I appreciate this. It means a lot.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Teresa. Item number 4 is review and possible approval of the 3rd cycle of the Rural County Grant Funding. Shanny Wilson and Lane Miller.
Hi, thank you. I'll echo what everyone said about Teresa. I walk into Grog's and she knows exactly what I want and it's on the table in 5 minutes. She doesn't even ask. I love it. So yeah, I asked Lane, our chair, to come, our CED chair, Community Economic Development, to come and help present today. So I'll go over some logistics and then I'll let him talk a little bit about the grant and the process and some of the projects that were funded. So we just finished up the 3rd cycle of the Rural County Grant, and we're excited to announce we had 25 applications come through. Actually 27, excuse me, we had 27 applicants apply for $200,000 worth of funding that we received from the Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity. Within those applications, the grant ask this year was over $630,000. Which is huge. We were able to help a lot of businesses with a lot of variety of things, and we're super proud of that. The bad news is everyone who applied for funding did not, there was only one that received the full amount, and that was for $1,200. Everyone else received about a third to a half of what they asked for, but they were all super grateful. It's been a great process. I'll just go over the amounts and those that were funded this 3rd cycle, and then Lane will take over from there. So Automail Industries received $20,000 this last go round. Castlegate Enterprise, which is Aunt Nell's, in helper. She received 5. Southeast Utah Association of Local Governments, they resubmitted. They applied the first cycle, did not receive funding. They resubmitted third cycle and they received $8,000. Bill's Home Furnishing received $8,000. Asia Rain received $1,250, and she's the one that received the full amount. Coyotes Well received $5,000, and Meaningful Minds received $19,250. So.
I think the thing that I appreciate about this program is that we help lots and lots of different folks. And part of what I enjoy is that the members of the board all have their own expertise. My expertise and the people the businesses that I can relate to are the small local businesses. Yet we have folks on the board who know about the big businesses, the steel companies and all that kind of stuff. So they all get their shot. And over the last, how long have we been doing this? A year? We've come up with a process. First time we did it, it took all afternoon. This last time, it was maybe an hour. We have a process that we use. We know what we're doing now, and it's a thrill to give away money. I don't know that I've been in a position like this before. I spent some time in Shanny's office when she called the businesses and told them that they were awarded. We heard all the way from whoops and hollers to tears. Everybody was so excited. So it's a great program. And it's a thrill for me to come talk to you guys about it. I appreciate this. I have no idea how I ended up on this committee. And I was reassigned. So there's something going on here. I'm not sure who's responsible for this, but it's been really exciting. It's brand new for me, but it's been a lot of fun. I thank you for it.
Lane, could you tell just a little bit about the things the board looks for in approving one of these grants?
Sure. I think the biggest thing that we look at is this going to make a big difference to a business and to the area? How many employees are they going to be able to hire because of this? What kind of assets, increased assets are coming back to the county and to the area? And I think kind of unsaid in that, I look for passion. I look for somebody who really appreciates what they're doing. They're passionate about it. And because we need to make sure that we help somebody who's going to be there for a while. And you can tell when you talk to people, is this something they're passionate about or what? So it's a number of things, from passion up to increased taxes to the area, and what's it going to do to the business.
Thank you.
I left a couple out, so hold on. I apologize. We actually funded a few from the first cycle, and we ended up putting 10,000 back into this because we did have a business from last year that did not comply. So this time around, we were able to give out just a little bit more. But Flawless Sheeting received 5,000. Swell Pet Supply received an additional 2,000. And West Coast Show Support received an additional 2,500, and Crafty Designs received an additional 2,000 on top of those that I already mentioned. So I apologize.
Shanny, one other thing.
Yeah.
Explain to the public, they've been approved. How do they get the money?
Yeah, so it is a 50-50 match. Once it passes through commission, they receive a letter from myself, an award letter, an agreement letter that they sign, send back. And then once the project is complete, they've spent the funding, they send me proof, receipts, photos, whatever that may be, then we cut them a check. And then they are required to report to the board when the project is complete, and then 1 year from the completion of the project, just so we can get a sense of how things are working and ask questions. So,
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
Perfect. We appreciate you guys and the efforts that you do,
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
and having a little bit of fun doling out some cash.
We are, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
We need a motion?
Yes.
I'll make the motion that we approve the third cycle of the rural grant funding program.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item number 5 is consideration and possible adoption of ordinance number 567, annual amendments to the Carbon County Development Code. Todd Thorne, Mr. Todd Thorne, to start the music.
So these two updates are in reference to section 3, which is some of our zoning requirements, specifically with our accessory dwelling units, or what we call ADUs. So in there, we have a sentence that says the owner needs to occupy either the home, the primary home, or the ADU. And we are looking to remove that sentence so that doesn't require the owner to live in either one. We're hoping to have more available housing options. Some places already have ADUs out there, but they have since been sold. And to allow people to live in either one of them, even if they rent out the home and the ADU, you're only allowed one accessory dwelling unit per lot. You have to have a large enough size lot, which is 10,000 square feet. And then if it meets the requirements, they can build it. It can't be bigger than 1,000 square feet. So it's intended to be smaller units, and some of them are rented out. We just wanted to clarify that so that it didn't cause any issues, going forward. So that was the first suggested change. And the second one is to do with our subdivision ordinances, which is in section 6. That is in reference to subdivision amendments. We have times where people are combining lots, and state code, the default state code is it has to go to planning commission. And what we're asking for is to where I can sign off on them, so that when someone wants to combine 2 parcels into one, they don't have to wait a month to come to planning commission. They can get it surveyed, follow all the requirements, but then I can sign off on them if the county commission goes with that recommendation. That'll help our local landowners just move a little quicker when they want to amend a subdivision.
Appreciate the explanations on that. A question that I have with the ADUs, this is some guidelines that you already have in place. This is
Yes.
just a correction.
Yep.
Do you see moving forward, if these ADUs start building out a little bit more, that we'll have to watch that a little tighter? Would you want to put verbiage in there now, or?
I look at it as if we're trying to create more housing opportunities for people. So we do have large lots in the county, and a lot of times the option is better to build an accessory dwelling unit on it than finding another lot and building a full-size home. So we've had several people who their homes, the way their homes were built, there's too many stairs, and so they're getting older, so they build an ADU for themselves and they're living in it, and then renting it to a grandkid or someone else that can accommodate those stairs a little easier. So we're hoping just to continue to provide more housing options, so people don't have to find another lot if they have enough space.
I don't have any questions. I'm in favor of.
I think they're good changes to the code. I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 567, amendments to the Carbon County Development Code.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Item number 6 is consideration and possible approval of amendments to the assessor's role. Gillen?
Good afternoon. So inherently, we in the assessor's office try to have as minimal corrections to closed tax rolls as possible, and only when we have vetted the information and found there to be a factual error will we support bringing it up to the commission and addressing a tax roll that is closed. The three that we're going to be addressing today are from the 2022 tax year. And the first one I have on, and I've created packets for you to look at, is parcel 01-1723-0035. So to give a little bit of overview on this one, this had several adjustments that we found in that the basement size, a garage, and home quality needed to be altered. Doing our research, we found that they had at some point received a small addition to their home. And at that time, the basement had been updated to the same size as the first level when that wasn't the case. They had only made an addition to the first level. And additionally to that, they have a basement garage, or what we call a built-in garage. And that was on the parcel, as well as the full basement size, where it should have been taken away from that. We found the difference in valuation was about $72,000, and that would have equated to about $903 in taxes actually paid. So we in the assessor's office, we would support approving a refund for that amount. Do you have any questions on that one? You want to go through all three?
Yeah, if you would go through all three and then.
Okay. The next one is for parcel 02-1714-0004. Here in this one, this had to do, and then you can refer to the two sketches that we have in here on the second page and the last page. The upper floor in the main home, when the home was originally built back in 2000, the upper floor is listed as 1440. The most recent appraisal that they submitted, the upper floor is measured at 1074. So an additional 380 or so square feet was being carried for that length of time on the second floor. Also, they have a detached garage structure that was built later than that, I think around about 2010. And that had a bonus room on it. The bonus room, when they were selecting the codes for its valuation, was the same as a regular garage. So it would have appeared in the system as if you would have had their detached garage plus an additional 500 square foot detached garage with foundation and roof and everything. And so that should have been coded a little differently. Because of the accumulation of the years here, it's hard to project exactly what that would have impacted their value since the very start to now. So discussing this with the homeowner, $900, it was presented as a number that they would be comfortable with, that would accommodate for all of those, a couple hundred square foot of difference and this detached structure being valued. So the assessor's office would like to support a refund of that. Final one. Parcel 01-1819-0015. So this is a relatively new home, and last year it was marked as 75% complete, and during that time the GLA was listed as 2,368. Upon completion of the home this year, that GLA was found to be 2,074, which is an indicated difference of $21,000 or $273 dollars in taxes. That difference in the size came down to the garage. The garage was listed when the sketch was created as living space when it should not have been. Additionally, in this one, the homeowners were using a USDA program to build their home and doing a lot of the work themselves. They did not reach out to the office and submit a primary declaration form. Because of that, the home did not receive the 45% primary exemption that every residence is allowed. With those two situations, the first one was definitely an error, and the assessor's office would support the refund of the $273. The second one is the primary declaration is very clearly 100% the responsibility of the homeowner to submit to the assessor's office in a timely manner. And so the assessor's office would not support or not recommend the refund of $1,033 for the home being listed as non-primary. As a side note, this particular home has been listed as primary for this year upon its completion. Any questions?
I don't have any.
I don't have any questions either. Thank you for going through these. I think it's fair when there are these errors made to correct them and return the money that's owed. So,
Yeah, definitely.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendments from the assessor's roll.
I'll second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And then in closing, these types of corrections are extremely rare, and one of the best safeguards and opportunities that the public and the assessor's office has is that when the rolls close, everyone in the county will receive their proposed notice. At that time, we would encourage all public landowners to take a look at those notices. And if they feel that something has changed on their property or something doesn't look right that's been bothering them for a while, to come in during that time. There's a time given with statute for us to make those corrections, and it is so much easier to go through that process when we close a roll rather than coming back a year later and possibly more to catch these types of things. So,
When would those notices start to go out? End of July?
yeah, so end of July they should start seeing. Yeah. And as we received some feedback from you guys, we are going to, in response to this, there's three things that we as the assessor's office want to do. One is we're going to readdress sketching. Sketching, obviously, and each one of these caused an issue with the homes and the data we had in our system. And so we're going to address that as something to focus on in our office. The next is getting the word out that we want people to look at their notices. So Larry, you suggested getting a video together. We're going to go on the radio and try to do a push this year to get as many people looking at those notices as possible. And then the final thing we're going to be working on is getting a tool that we can use as the office, and then hopefully that will become front facing to the public so that people can see a comparison of their homes to the homes around about them, so that almost like the GIS has a layer of data, like you can see zoning, you'll be able to see maybe a price per square foot or a price per acre for the ground that your home is at. That will give us an opportunity to not only allow people to see the equity that we're trying to build, but then also give them a chance to educate themselves. So those are some things that this has highlighted for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn.
we are adjourned. Thanks for coming out.